There was a time when just about every county fair had one of these. The Rock-O-Plane, built by the Eyerly Aircraft Company, it was part Ferris wheel, part cage match, and a rite of passage for a certain generation of carnival goers. These days, most of the ground mount versions have faded away. Too many parts, too much manual labor, but this one, the trailer-mounted Eyerly version, you still see it now and then, mostly because it's the least painful to set up. Majestic Midways picked this one up last winter. No manual, no one on site had ever set one up before. Just a trailer full of steel, some leftover snow clinging to the frame, and a deal too good to pass up. So we zipped up our coats, huddled around the trailer, and pieced it together using a mix of memory, logic, and a whole lot of, this looks like it probably goes here. So this isn't my typical setup video, it's more just a look over our shoulders as we try to figure it out. And stick around to the end because I want to share something special with you, and I promise that isn't clickbait.
The Eyerly Sidewinder, it had outriggers like this. It had two dollies on it. Put them down, unhook the truck, and then you pulled the pins out of the neck, which folded down. That folded down, then you retracted the feet, lowered the front down a little bit, and then swung these around and pinned them. And then you would raise it back up to get it to check your level, and then you'd have to switch holes and stuff like that. On the Sidewinder, though, you didn't have other cylinders, so I'm thinking those help level it side to side so that you don't have to keep tipping it down and up and down. Me and Peter over here trying to figure out how to set this damn thing up.
So at this point, we reached out for help.
I'm gonna have to phone a friend, Jeremy.
Calling around to see if anyone we knew had a manual for a trailer mount Eyerly Rock-O-Plane.
No, he's got a wisdom.
We got a manual emailed to us, but it contained information for a ground mount, which is much more like an erector set you assemble than this version, which unfolds somehow.
Maybe between me, Pete, you, and Keith, we could figure this out.
So at this point, we just started figuring it out. Knowing that we probably had to level it first, we folded out the outriggers and started to attach them to what appeared like the correct spot.
That's got to go up.
We were pretty much on the right track here, but we did miss that brace resting in the saddle on top. Everything would have gone together much smoother if we'd hooked that in place at this time. This toolbox contains a lot of the miscellaneous pins and parts we would need to assemble the ride. It looks like it might have got rained on.
That one that fits there. That side's got to come up. So let me turn the pump on. It's touchy. Cool the colors together.
Yeah.
I think that looked really nice when it was first done.
All new, yeah.
Freaking thing.
So a lot of the parts for this ride were traveling inside the central tower. The crew pulled these out while we plotted the next move. These long rods are more braces, and this red contraption is the handbrake used to stop the ride. I'm not sure if Eyerly has a different name for these, but on a Ferris wheel they'd be called elephant ears. They're the pieces that attach to the end of the spokes and the drive cable wraps around them. There were some pins that had to be pulled to unlatch the wings holding the ride tubs in their travel position, but it seemed like maybe some of the pivot bushings were worn, so we used the forklift to give us the slack we needed to pull the pins. The mechanism here is pretty slick. The tower is resting in a yoke that's attached to the wings holding the ride tubs, so by raising the tower, the wings automatically lower to the ground. The pins that connect the yoke to the wings are then pulled. This allows you to lower the tower without lifting the wings. This is done so that the spokes can be unfolded. The sign in the center of the wheel is unpinned from its travel position and lifted up into its run position. The spokes are then on straps so they can be spread. I have to apologize, I missed a bunch of footage here because I was helping to unfold the spokes, but they basically fan out around the center and diagonal braces are pinned to hold the shape. At the end, a ratchet strap is used to bring the first and last spoke close enough together to latch the cable that runs around the perimeter. By this point, we finally realized we needed to get the braces for the outriggers out of their saddles and connected to the base of the ride. The tower can finally be raised. This is just a matter of using the hydraulic cylinder to lift it, and then a series of bolts are installed through the flange around the base. At that point, it was getting cold and dark, so we called it a night, but not before seeing if the lights worked, and it appeared like most of them did. There was a bit of a miscommunication, so by the time I arrived the next morning, the elephant ears and drive cable had already been installed. The elephant ears are pinned in place, then you attach the cable to one of the spokes and just manually turn the wheel to pull it up and around. We had the benefit of a crew that actually knew how the ride was supposed to be assembled on day 2, but even they were left scratching their heads a bit because the decking had been modified and was not the stock configuration you would typically see on a Rock-O-Plane. Here's some footage I recorded 2 years ago in Jasper, Alabama, showing the standard deck configuration. The way this ride is set up makes it a bit more difficult to install the ride tubs because you have to carry each one up and over the decking instead of just walking between them. And you have to install the decking first because without it, you don't have your brake. Each tub is slipped on a shaft, and a jam nut's used to hold it in place. This ride runs pretty smoothly. I think it would look great in my backyard. Personally, I would have loved to have seen this old Rock-O-Plane get the full Majestic Midway's rebuild treatment, but every show has to make choices, and with limited time and space, not every ride makes the cut. They ultimately decided to pass this ride along to another outfit. That said, there's something else waiting in the wings. Tucked away in storage, Majestic has 2 Larson high rollers. If all goes well, they're hoping to build one good one out of the pair next fall, and I, for one, can't wait to see that come together. Projects like these, whether it's Majestic's high roller or our own rocket ride restoration, are part of a bigger mission keeping a piece of carnival history alive one ride at a time. And if you're enjoying this journey and want to help support the work we're doing, consider joining us over on Patreon. Every bit helps us rescue, restore, and share the stories behind these incredible machines. And hey, if you want to see where the story leads next, click that link to the left and come along for the ride.